photographic. Today we're going to do some action portraits. I have a couple different ideas to play with. So one is a golf swing. It's kind of neat. I did a self-portrait for that one. I have a long exposure with some flashes set up and some lights on the club to kind of make it interesting. And then I've recently done action portraits or active portraits with some type of motion in the scene, and also to have the subject be visible and usually lit especially. Sometimes I have them more blurry, but it really shows the dynamic situation that they're in, whether it be fishing or swinging a golf club or riding a bike. The action shot per se is more, I don't know, I guess it'd be more for a magazine. People still like to have them of themselves, of the sport that they love to do, so that's kind of fun to still do those. But the active portrait shows more of the person and then just throwing motion in there. So there's a couple different ways to kind of blend them together. And I shot them on the 5D Mark IV. All right, let's go check it out.
The first batch of images I have here are my friend Jody Wilson, who's a local Collingwood photographer and avid cyclist. And we just went to test the area out. This is down by the waterfront for sunrise, and just get some cool compositions with the sun. And it's always a changing environment to try to shoot, and a challenge when the sun's coming up. So it was kind of fun to shoot with the couple different zoom lenses. And now we know the location, we can go back and do some more. This is a still just taking advantage of the light, and we'll definitely go back and shoot some more, maybe with some flashes to fill in. And then I went back down there with my friend Brock Tadashore, and we were looking to create some images for his clinic, his health clinic. So he's an avid runner, and he decided to bring the dog along as well. So we didn't have the best lighting conditions for the sunrise as I did with Jody, but we made the best of it and just created a few silhouettes. And then of course with digital, being able to open up the raw file for the shadows, I was able to get some cool fill light as well. So it was a good try for our first go, but we'll probably go back and shoot some more. Then I have a few examples of some motion with some fishing, some local Beaver River movement in the water is kind of cool, and then some blur of some mountain biking with this is no flash, so with a fill flash it would be cool to see the athlete's face. And then this is a golf swing that's a lot better than my golf swing, as we'll see. So I got some work to do, but this is a little bit of the idea with the bike light on the club. So this is a field close to my house. I was able to get all my gear up there and get some flashes lined up. The mosquitoes were pretty crazy, so it kept me moving. And I basically just ran back and forth from the shooting position to the golf swing position and back. It's always good to get out and take advantage of a nice evening and get some cool experiments going on with the second curtain sync, which has always been a challenge with the Canon 5D, to get the shutter to open and have the flash fire before it closes. So I've finally figured that out with the Godox trigger stacked with a bolt trigger on top of that. And the twilight is a little bit challenging to get the bike light to show up that's on the golf club, but into the dark shadows, then you really get it to show. And this setup for an image is different every single time, so it's fun to see what results you can get. I'll definitely be going back up to work on my swing and also experiment with the different lighting scenarios. This is with a 20mm at the beginning, and then I switched to more direct with the 50mm lens. I have a little green LED as well as a bike light, red bike light, brake light taped onto the club. Those are 2-second exposures. in this other situation, I have this cool background that has some foliage for a rainy day bike photo. So I was under the protection of my trunk lid and just used the back shelf as my tripod. So this is my setup. It's a Godox trigger with a bolt trigger on top because I'm trying to get the second shutter sync and I've never figured out a way to get the bolt to do it. So that's how I make it work. Stack them up. I have my waterproofed remote and waterproof flash setup. So I'm not sure how the audio is going to work for this, but I had this idea for this photo to shoot in the springtime, but it was quite cold when it was really rainy. Now it's warm and rainy. So quick little setup up the road from my house. All my gear in the rain, which is great fun. Working out of the car at least. And we got the bike set up. We got we have rim lighting, so one flash behind. I was gonna have a fill flash, but I forgot a piece of that. So let's see what we can do here with some drive-through out of the remote control. And I have a path to shoot in. Okay, remote control, duct tape to the bars. And what else do we got? Look the part with some glasses. And let's see if I can make this work. Where's my flash? Tell me the battery died on that thing. So many moving parts. Okay, that works, that works. Well, battery is low. Well, might have to try it again. There's one, let's see. Always bring extra batteries. Good rule of thumb. They're not even old. Give them a spin. Blow on them. See what works. Let's see if I got a few more here. We got one. So I don't know how many times I went around, but I got one that looks okay to edit. I can bring up the shadows where I didn't have a fill flash to bring in the front, but the rim lighting looks really cool, and there's a little bit of motion in me and the bike, and there's motion in the raindrops with a little crisp raindrop from the flash, and that's how it goes with testing. So it's always fun to get out and test the gear and remember batteries next time. All right. So this is the first test just to get the flash lined up behind my bodies where I thought I was going to get the image done. And it was harder than I thought to get in front of the flash with the specific part of my body to make it look effective. And behind the body, actually that's a little bit still showing, but it worked pretty good. The fill flash probably would have been better, so this is a good test to know what to bring the next time. And this is probably the best one where I actually got it behind my arm, which is kind of a fluke. But I went around enough times, I better have gotten one thing to edit. So that was a pretty fun session.
So I also want to get a little bit into my story of how I learned photography, and it was through when I first was gifted my first camera, the Pentax, which I've used a few times as a prop in these episodes. Is I learned from books, and those books had multiple genres. They're the Time Life series. They're a really great way to learn, and this is pre-internet, of course. Every genre I went into, I ended up just finding a passion for it, and now I can't seem to streamline. I do a little bit in certain ways, but I'm just so easily distracted by the next best thing, whether it be macro or whichever way the wind's blowing. I'm into landscape one day, and then I'm into action portraits or traditional portraits. So it's kind of I don't get paid for my day job as a photographer. So I'm lucky I don't have to put pressure on myself in that sense that I need to stick to one genre right now. I do sell my work, and I do photography as a service. I do short shoot for clients, but it's not a lot of pressure for me to be able to jump all over the place, which is kind of fun for having different cameras to play with and also different genres to always be floating through. Also, my job as a professional trade as a painter and sometimes carpenter, I have a lot of time on my hands because I'm such a good painter. I can really just think about photography when I'm up the ladder or doing some monotonous job. So it's been good for a good blend. And then sometimes the client has an empty wall and they want to get some artwork, so I blend the two together. So it's kind of a little bit of my story there. I'll probably get a little bit more elaborate into my story down the road, but I just thought it'd be interesting to see or know why I have such a wide kind of genre list of shooting. My website is kind of trying to make it look like it's got a little bit of focus, and then my project section is everything under the sun. So it's kind of a way for me to still be creative and still be organized at the same time. All right, let's go check it out.
This is a little breakdown for a sitting portrait with motion that I developed for my thumbnail. Okay, this is a cool little setup in the basement studio. Continue the rainy day. I have an old film Canon body. Then we have a polarizer on the front to catch some light from the beauty dish. Then I have a 5D in there. And then I have a side light with the red on it. It's a bike light. So then we're gonna do a 1 second exposure while I'm turning on the swivel chair, holding the camera, and then the crisp beauty dish will hit and fill in over here at the end of the exposure. And I'm at f4, so it's kind of hopefully on focus for this spot. The background will be out of focus and pretty much just black. And 1 second, ISO 100. And no flash again. What's up with that? Always fine tuning. No flash. Don't know why second curtain sync doesn't work on there. Time to figure it out again. Hey, let's see if I can do this again. That's such a problem with second shutter sync, trying to get the camera to tell the transmitter to send the signal at the end of an exposure, especially when they're long. And it worked when I was just out in the rain biking, and now it's not working. It's not working at all. Oh, that one did it at the beginning. That one's doing it also at the beginning, but at least it's working. So that's a 1 second exposure. And then at f4, at f4, ISO 100. But it won't shoot at the end of the exposure. So let's see what that looks like. That could be kind of cool. Always experimental with this type of little session, but I'm glad I got something to use, and I'm gonna fine tune this second curtain sync, make sure I have some fresh batteries, and get all my settings correct, and I'll redo a video on that. The next day, we have a beautiful sunny day, and I have an idea to get out with the hammock, and not necessarily an action shot, although it's a lot of effort to get out there and make it happen. So I got some rope in my hammock and a bike and a beautiful day.
So I stretch this across, back and forth, 4 times to distribute the weight a bit. And it's a beaut. Only fell once.
So I started out with the 10-second timer and see if I can make it work in time.
Or I could put the remote in. Much easier process than the 10-second timer. I've had this thing for so long, I never use it. Now I'm gonna use it all the time.
This is one of those projects that I kind of have to get out of my head and, like people say, just get on paper. And it'd be a really great way to go camping with a simple setup with one tree or a post. For more of my work, you could find me at ogphoto.ca, and on Instagram, you can find me at ogphoto.